What's up, y'all? Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com. I am Cecil West, back again with the one and only
Jonathan Lippy.
And this is your question of the day. I got a good one today. I split my bone up into two sections, and today, John, I gotta know, what is your favorite post Golden Era Bone album?
Golden Era. Well, I think I know what you mean by that, but we should probably define this golden era before we even get into answering this. Does this have to do with like before Thug World Order, after Thug World Order, or does it lead like at what point, or Resurrection? Where does this golden era? Obviously, it probably begins with Creeping on a Come Up. Where does the golden era end and conclude?
The Golden Era of Bone. To me, the Golden Era of Bone has always kind of been over as of Resurrection. And I count Resurrection in the Golden Era, but like that was like the end. That was like you knew it was the end. Listening to that album, you know that this is the final ride in the Golden Era. Like if everything up to that point had been 10 out of 10s, like that one was like the 8 out of a 10. Like it was just like not as good. It was the first time I think that we had seen the imperfections. Up until then, you know, even though like you know, everything was perfect as far as being a Bone fan up until then. So I always count that as like, okay, the first time we were seeing like a hole in the ship, the imperfections. So that's the last album to me in the Golden Era. Well, what do you think? Tell me about the Bone Thugs Golden Era.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Resurrection, and for the same reasons, because Bone was flawless on their first three. Resurrection, same thing. It was like it was still good, because if you look at Resurrection, you can't really point to a bad song on it. They're just not the same caliber as the first three. But I still think Resurrection was good enough to still be part of the legacy of Bone, especially since you got the Volume 2 collection. I pinpoint, for me, I kind of say Mo Thugs 2 as that concludes and goes into the Crazy Bone solo album. That's kind of where I'm putting it, but it's right around that time with Resurrection. Resurrection, Mo Thug 2 leading into Crazy Bone, and I feel like that's where the new era begins. Certainly, Thug World Order is not part of the Golden Era. So everything, we could just make it simple, and everything before Thug World Order is the Golden Era, and everything after is the next era. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. The Resurrection was the last time that I had that huge Bone Thugs excitement. Like I was excited. No, I can't even say that. Like I wasn't as excited when Thug World Order dropped as I was for Resurrection or anything prior to that. Like I was really excited for Resurrection. Even though it wasn't like the album that I necessarily wanted. You know, again, I said it's that 8 out of the 10 where the others were 10 out of 10s.
Right.
Or maybe, you know, maybe those aren't official numbers, guys. Again, that's an example, but I was still really excited. The excitement for Resurrection, I was really excited. It hasn't been like that for me again until like Unified, and Unified was kind of a letdown. So that I would say that is the Golden Era ending right there. Fucking Thug World Order is the start of something new.
And actually, in theory, you know, the collection Volume 2 should be probably the end, because like at that point you felt like that Ruthless was wrapping it up and closing up shop on Bone, releasing this collection too. So, but yeah, we got the idea right around there. So
yeah, so we'll count Thug World Order, everything Thug World Order, and moving forward as post Golden Era. And I only want to know about your favorite Bone album. And you can count whatever you want in there. If THUGS is your favorite, if fucking for some reason Bone for Life is your favorite, any of that shit will count. We'll even count Art of War 3, and I'll even give you fucking New Waves. So post Bone Thug album.
Okay, well, and to start off, as I'm thinking of this, you got Thug World Order, and then you have the dark era of Bone, and that is the THUGS Bone for Life, and Thug Stories. So I'm going to discount those. That's not going to be it. And then as I look at it, it's really going to be between Strength and Loyalty, The World's Enemy, Art of War 3, and New Waves. And the album that should have been the flagship best Bone album afterwards is The World's Enemy, but it didn't turn out that way. Whereas Strength and Loyalty was that surprise out of nowhere. Nobody saw it coming, a three-man group, and they held it down and delivered when nobody thought they could with just three guys. And Strength and Loyalty was that big surprise. Star Power, Swizz Beatz, Mariah Carey, and Akon. And it resurrected the brand. It was the true resurrection. So Strength and Loyalty, in my opinion, is the best post golden era Bone album, and it's the reason that Bone is still here. They reestablished themselves as legends in the game, the vets, the all-time greatest rap group. And in that time period, remember, Crazy Bone was doing stuff with Chameleonaire, winning a Grammy for Riding Dirty. He was lending his verses on that Biggie Spit Your Game. He was doing a lot of stuff there, and then the Cypher.
Tupac Untouchables.
Tupac Untouchables. So Crazy was putting in that work, and I feel like that Strength and Loyalty with Swizz rebranded them, resurrected them, and pound for pound, Strength and Loyalty did the most out of any of these albums, in my opinion, for Bone. And I think it's the best post Golden Era Bone album.
I do love Strength and Loyalty. I love that you mentioned how much work that Crazy Bone was putting in. I would love to confirm the story. I've always kind of understood that Crazy Bone initially linked up with Swizz Beatz and was getting a full service solo deal. And that's why we were seeing so much, full surface Crazy Bone solo stuff. So my understanding is it's always been the solo deal was there, and Crazy Bone worked it out for it to be Bone Thugs and Harmony. If you look at the Untouchables remix, or you look at the Spit Your Game track, they all say featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony, not Crazy Bone. And Crazy Bone had said that he was keeping the brand alive at that time. So instead of just putting featuring Crazy Bone, he put featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony, which I always thought was a great move. And it was around that time where we could say that they were split up. And we didn't know if that was really true during Resurrection. I mean, they even discredit it, like Busy Bone in the Resurrection video, he discredits that they were broken up. But we know pretty firmly by Strength and Loyalty that there was a heavy divide. Busy Bone isn't in the group. We've had a lot of solo records now. So it was a different feeling. They got that Strength and Loyalty album. There's a lot of picks here. Thug World Order wouldn't be my pick. I love the Art of War 3, World War 3, the Art of War, World War 3, whatever the fuck they called that. But I love it for what it could have been, not what it became. What it became isn't what it should have been, obviously. We know that was released kind of during that weird time where Wish and Crazy had stepped away from the group. And that was unfinished. Unified wasn't what it was supposed to be. Now, I was really excited for Unified. I would say out of all the albums on that list, I was the most excited for Unified. Unified was the closest I got to that Bone excitement feeling. So I didn't have that during Strength and Loyalty. In fact, I don't even know if I knew Strength and Loyalty was going to be a thing until it dropped, or maybe right before it was dropped. Like, I wasn't following it like that, but I will agree, out of all these, Strength and Loyalty is absolutely my favorite. It's just got a complete great sound, and I know some of the fans don't agree with all the tracks. I don't love every track on it. I know Swizz Beatz was a real change of a producer, and I've said before that I don't think Swizz Beatz necessarily understood the Bone Thugs sound. I think he was trying to bring Bone Thugs to a new sound, it updated for that time, 2007. So I think he was trying to kind of give them a little bit of an update, but it just didn't make sense for the fans. Not for the music. The music on here is great. We as fans, fans feel the same way a lot about like new waves. And I'm like, look, the new waves music is great. It's great music. It's just not Bone Thugs and Harmony. And a lot of this wasn't necessarily Bone Thugs and Harmony, but it's great music. And we know that I tried was the resurrection of the fucking brand.
Yeah.
Anybody that says that Bone Thugs was as important at that time before I tried is crazy. I tried, put the just the air back in their lungs. It really changed the game. It was a great move to have Akon. Akon was, the Nate Dogg of that time period. So they did a great thing. Um, I
What do you
tried has
think?
kind of become the crossroads to me, so I don't love to listen to it, but it's the
What do you
resurrection.
think? Why do you think some people don't fondly remember Strength and Loyalty? I think it has to do with a lot of people don't like Candy Paint. I really like Candy Paint. Like I wish there wasn't so much chorus. I love the verses. There's too much of the move out my way and the chorus and all that. But when the verses are going, I really love those verses. Everything else about it, maybe not so much. I like the beat too. I think that's the stain on Strength and Loyalty that just people can't get over.
I
What do you think it is? Because some people don't fondly remember Strength and Loyalty. And do you think it's Candy Paint or do you think it's something else?
I think Candy Paint. I mean, I think Candy Paint is definitely the one that people dislike the most. But like, I think Bump in the Trunk isn't like super loved by the fans. Um,
Yeah, because they went
even
back in
like,
the well twice in a row because they did Flow Motion, which actually came out great. They performed it fantastic on those, and I think that part also resurrected them was their stage show, especially the one of those. It was like some online. I don't know if it was AOL or somebody put on a concert for Bone, and they came out
yeah,
with Flow Motion, and like I remember seeing it, thinking like, damn, these guys are still
yeah.
good and they seemed like energetic and young. And then so you had two tracks in a row that felt like it was dipping in the well. Flow Motion from Faces of Death and Bumps in the Trunk from Thuggish Ruggish Bone, like Lazy Bone's first line. Maybe that's what it is that it was kind of like going back to the well too much
I
and
don't
not
know
bringing.
because I think Bone fans like that. I mean, we've talked about this before. Bone's kind of synonymous with almost bringing up the same themes. I mean, even look at what was the song More Than Thugs, the Demiza one, the newer
Oh
Demiza
yeah,
track. I mean,
yeah,
that chorus is just a rehash of just Bone words, and we love it because it's done in such a great way, But I mean that chorus is just a fucking rehash, you know.
yeah.
Um, but it was done great. So I don't know if fans necessarily hated that. Like I love Flow Motion. I don't love Bump in the Trunk, but I don't hate it the way a lot of fans do. I love Wind Blow. I tried, isn't my favorite shit, but it's a good song. Lil Love isn't my favorite shit, but I always love Mariah Carey and Bone. That's like a staple. They got enough tracks now to have an album. Um, it's a good record, and again, it provoked the feelings that I wanted it to be. Once the album was done and I had it and it was in my hands, and the cover art that Cairo Wolf did, that made me excited. And it just like you said, it resurrected the fucking brand. So it is my favorite overall. I agree. Unified World's Enemy, that should have been the one. That should be the one that I'm picking, but this is definitely it. So I 100% agree with you, um, that this is the one. This is the one.
What if we took the entire body of work of Strength and Loyalty, which is essentially is like 2 to 3 albums, and the body of work around The World's Enemy, which is about 2 to 3 albums? Which one are you like? If it was a big triple disc or double CD, are you still going with Strength and Loyalty, or are you going with The World's Enemy?
So you're saying if we're taking all the cuts as well, the unreleased cuts?
Yeah, because there was the Fixed Tape 3
Yeah,
special delivery, and then there was the Unify of the Filthy prequel. How, is it the
yeah.
Filthy?
No, the filthy.
So
No, it's. I think it's just called the
prequel.
prequel. But um, so if I could take all these cuts and make like the perfect version of each one, then
Yeah.
I'd probably end up liking Unified at that point, because Unified had some fucking amazing songs that just for whatever reason ended up getting cut. And I got Busy Bone, I got Flesh and Bone, like I got a whole Bone album there. You know, I got the real Bone. But if I'm just comparing album to album, like I like Strength and Loyalty more. Wind Blow is great. Order My Steps is great. Fucking Streets is great. Like Never Forget Me, Flow Motion. I mean, these are just better songs overall than what I feel about Unified or anything else. So that even, you know, if things went the way I wanted, we'd probably be picking Unified. But this is going Strength and Loyalty. John picked Strength and Loyalty. Now we got to know what you're picking. What is your favorite post Golden Era Bone album? Remember, that means everything from Thug World Order and up. Let us know what your pick is in the comments below. Don't forget to tell us why, and share this with another Bone fan so we can get their pick as well. And we will catch you guys on the next one.